My brother walked into my office lobby like he already worked there, confident, entitled, smiling. He didn't have an appointment. He didn't have an interview. He had our parents' promise that I'd give him a senior engineering role. The same parents who emptied my entire college fund 6 years ago. $87,000. Gone. Transferred in a single day to fund his crypto startup. No contract. No repayment plan, just gone. And now he was here, in my building, expecting me to hand him a six-figure job like I owed him something. I looked at him through the glass door and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Clarity. Because I had the bank records to prove what they did. I had the court filings that showed where the money went, and I had a decision to make. How much is loyalty worth when your family sells your future? Drop your time zone below and tell me. Are you team boundaries or team forgiveness? And if you're new here, hit that like button. You're going to want to see where this goes. Let me take you back 6 years. I was 17, high school senior. I had a college fund my grandparents started when I was born. My parents were the co-owners. I couldn't touch it until I turned 18. But they could. One night, my mom sat me down at the kitchen table. Ethan has an opportunity, she said. A once-in-a-lifetime thing. He needs capital for his startup. I remember the way she said it. Like it was already decided. What about my college fund? I asked. She looked at my dad. He looked at his coffee. You're resourceful, she finally said. You'll find a way. Ethan needs this now. 2 weeks later, the money was gone. All of it. I didn't go to my dream school. I went to the state school that offered me partial aid. I worked 3 jobs. Nights at a campus lab, weekends doing freelance code, summers at a local startup where the CTO took me under his wing. I graduated with a computer science degree, 0 debt, and a chip on my shoulder the size of that missing fund. I kept climbing. Junior dev, mid-level, senior, lead. By the time I turned 24, I was VP of engineering at a Series B SaaS company. Ethan's startup? It collapsed in 18 months. My parents never mentioned the money again. And I never asked. But I kept every email, every text, every bank statement. Because that's who I am. I document everything. I thought that chapter was closed. Then my phone rang. It was a Tuesday afternoon when my mom called. Sweetheart, we need to talk about Ethan. I was in a sprint review. I stepped out. He's between opportunities right now, she said. We thought, your dad and I, that maybe you could bring him on. You know, at your company. I didn't say anything. He's really talented, she continued. And you owe us. After everything we did to raise you, this is the least you could do. I felt my jaw tighten. Mom, I can't just hire someone because he's your brother? She interrupted. Yes, you can. That's what family does. My dad got on speaker. Come on, kiddo, he said. Nostalgic. Warm. We've always been there for you. Now we're asking you to be there for Ethan. I told them I'd think about it. That night, Ethan texted me. Yo, heard the good news. Send me the onboarding docs. Also, can I pick my team? Or is there a default pod? No, hello, no thank you. No acknowledgement of the $87,000 they took from me. Just entitlement. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, I'll think about it. He sent a thumbs up emoji. My mom called again the next morning. We're scheduling a family dinner on Saturday, she said, to celebrate Ethan's new role. Wear something nice. I had 72 hours. I called my old mentor, the CTO who gave me my first real shot. I told him everything. He listened. Then he sighed. Don't hire out of guilt, he said. But I'll be honest, this is going to get ugly. Family fights always do. He was right. By Thursday, my parents had told the entire extended family that I'd promised Ethan the job. My phone started lighting up. Aunts, cousins, even my grandmother. How can you turn your back on Ethan after everything he's been through? You've always been the cold one. We raised you better than this. I wanted to scream. I wanted to send them all the bank records, the truth, the proof. But part of me wondered if I was wrong. Maybe I was being selfish. Maybe I should just let it go. Give him the job. Keep the peace. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my apartment staring at my laptop. I even drafted a resignation letter. Maybe I'd just leave the company. Start over somewhere my family couldn't reach me. Then I opened the folder. The one I'd been avoiding for 6 years. Inside were 3 documents. And everything changed. The first document was the original bank statement. Account number ending in 6214. My college fund? I scrolled to the date. 2 weeks after my 17th birthday. There it was. One withdrawal. $87,342. The memo line read, Loan to EM, Startup Capital. Loan. They called it a loan. But there was no promissory note. No repayment schedule. No interest rate. No signature from Ethan. Just a one-way transfer. I zoomed in on the date. The amount. The memo. If it was a loan, where was the paperwork? Where was the contract? Where was any evidence that Ethan agreed to pay it back? I took a screenshot. I saved it to 3 different places. Then I opened the second document. It was a public business filing. The dissolution record for Ethan's startup. The company lasted 16 months. Total capital raised, $160,000. $87,000 from my fund. The rest from a private investor. The investor sued Ethan 9 months after the company folded. The complaint was still online, and that's when I saw the expense breakdown. I wasn't ready for what came next. But I read every line. Friday morning, my dad showed up at my office. Unannounced, security called me. I came down to the lobby. He was standing there in his weekend jacket, arms crossed. "We need to talk," he said. I walked him outside. "What's going on?" he asked. "Your mother is worried sick. Ethan is confused. You said you'd think about it. What's there to think about?" "Dad, I can't just hire someone because he's family." "You think you're too good for us now?" His voice got louder. "You think because you have some fancy title, you're better than the people who raised you?" I didn't answer. He shook his head and left. An hour later, my mom sent an email. It was CC'd to 17 people, aunts, uncles, cousins, family, friends. The subject line, "A mother's heartbreak." I didn't read the whole thing. I didn't need to. The preview was enough. We gave him life. We gave him love. His brother gave him nothing but support. And now, when Ethan needs him most, he turns his back. Then Ethan went public. He posted on Instagram a photo of a closed door. The caption, "Locked out by blood." Vague, emotional, perfectly crafted for sympathy. By noon, my company's HR director pulled me into a conference room. "We've received some messages," she said carefully, "about a family situation. The CEO wants this handled quietly. We can't afford public drama right now." I had 24 hours until the dinner, and I was done playing defense. The second document was the investor lawsuit. 23 pages, filed in county court. I read the expense breakdown attached as Exhibit C. Ethan's startup burned through $160,000 in 16 months. Here's where it went. $40,000, consulting fees paid to Ethan himself. $22,000, lease payments on a Tesla Model S. $18,000, Airbnb rentals marked as market research. $12,000, conferences, travel, and networking events. The rest, office furniture, logo design, a website that never launched. Product development, $0. Customer acquisition, $0. Actual startup costs, $0. The investor's complaint used the word misrepresentation 4 times. Ethan had told him the money was going toward building a platform. Instead, Ethan built a lifestyle. My lifestyle. Funded with my future. I took another screenshot. Saved it, printed it. Then I made a phone call. An old family friend? The one who introduced Ethan to that investor. "Tell me the truth," I said. "What happened after the company folded?" He hesitated. Then he told me everything. And that's when I finally understood this wasn't about a job. It was about covering up the con. The family friend's voice was quiet on the phone. "Your parents think Ethan's doing great," he said. He told them the startup was acqui-hired. that he turned down offers from Google and Amazon, that he's been consulting for the last year. And the truth? I asked. He's been unemployed for 11 months, living in their basement. They took out a home equity line of credit to cover his credit card debt. I felt my stomach drop. How much? $43,000. And they're drowning. He kept talking. They need him employed. Not just for the money, for their reputation. They've been telling everyone at church that both their kids are success stories. If the truth comes out, they'll be humiliated. I sat there in silence. It all made sense now. I wasn't the solution. I was the scapegoat and the ATM. They didn't want me to help Ethan. They wanted me to validate the lie, to make the story real. If I hired him, they could keep pretending. Keep telling their friends that Ethan was thriving, that their investment paid off. And I'd be complicit. I thanked him and hung up. Then I opened my laptop and typed one sentence into Google. Employment attorney near me. I had one day, and I knew exactly what to do. Saturday morning, I met with an attorney. I brought everything. The bank statement, the lawsuit, the expense records. She read through it all in silence. Then she looked up. They called it a loan in the memo line, she said. That creates a legal basis for a demand letter. You're entitled to request repayment. What are my chances? I asked. In court? 50-50. But that's not the point. The point is leverage. The moment you formalize this, they have to respond. She drafted the letter while I waited. $87,342. Principal, plus 6% annual interest. Total, $118,600. Payable within 30 days. I read it twice. This isn't revenge, she said quietly. This is recovery. I signed the retainer. Then I went home and wrote an email. Subject line, re the loan you forgot. I attached the bank statement. The lawsuit. The expense breakdown. I wrote one paragraph. Short, factual, calm. Then I printed 3 copies of the demand letter. One for my mother, one for my father, one for Ethan. I put them in a folder, and I drove to the restaurant. I walked in with a briefcase and a boundary. The restaurant had a semi-private dining room. When I walked in, the whole family was there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, even my grandmother. My mom stood up and smiled. There he is, our VP. Everyone clapped. Ethan was at the head of the table, grinning. My dad raised a glass. To Ethan's new chapter, he said, and to family taking care of family. I waited for the toast to finish. Then I stood. Before we celebrate, I said, I want to clarify something. The room went quiet. I opened the briefcase and pulled out the folders. I handed one to my mother, one to my father, one to Ethan. What is this? My mom asked. The truth, I said. I stayed standing. 6 years ago, you took $87,000 from my college fund. You called it a loan. I want to show everyone what that loan paid for. I opened my copy. Page 1. The bank statement. $87,000 withdrawn in one day. No contract, no repayment terms. My dad's face went red. This is not the time. Page 2, I continued. The lawsuit. Ethan's investor sued him for misrepresentation. The company spent $40,000 on consulting fees, paid to Ethan, $22,000 on a leased Tesla, $18,000 on Airbnbs. Ethan stood up. This is insane. You're trying to destroy me. Page 3, I said. The demand letter. You called it a loan. I'm calling it due. $87,000 in principal, plus interest. $118,600. Payable in 30 days. My mother started crying. An uncle leaned forward. Is this true? He asked Ethan. Ethan looked around the table. Then he grabbed his jacket. I don't have to listen to this. He walked out. My dad stood. You've made your point, he said. His voice was shaking. You've humiliated us. No, I said. I've documented the facts. There's a difference. I placed my attorney's card on the table. You have 30 days to respond. After that, she files in court. I picked up my briefcase. And I walked out. Behind me, the room erupted. I didn't look back. 3 months later, my parents' attorney called mine. They wanted to settle. They couldn't afford the full amount. The home equity line was tapped out. Ethan had no assets. But they offered $60,000. Structured payments over 36 months. My attorney asked what I wanted to do. I thought about it for a long time. I could push for the full amount. I could take them to court. I could win. But that wasn't the point anymore. The point was the boundary. I accepted the settlement. Not because I forgave them, but because I was ready to let go. The payments started the next month. On time, every month, Ethan moved out of their basement. He took a junior support role at a different tech company. Not mine, someone else's. I saw his LinkedIn update. I didn't comment. I didn't react. I just moved on. My parents sent an apology email 2 months after the settlement. It was short. We're sorry for the pressure we put on you. We need some space right now. We hope you can respect that. I wrote back one line. Understood. I didn't hear from them for 6 months. And that was okay. I used the settlement money to start a small scholarship fund. The Second Chance Fund. For first-generation college students who lost family financial support. It's not big, but it's real. I didn't post about it on social media. I didn't send a press release. I just did it. Because I didn't need the validation. I needed the closure. A year later, I'm still at the same company. Still VP of Engineering. Ethan's still working, still employed, still figuring it out. My parents and I exchange emails on birthdays. Nothing deep. Nothing heavy. Just boundaries. I didn't get all my money back. But I got something better. I got my peace. Here's what I learned. You can't control what people take from you, but you can control what you're willing to carry for them. Boundaries aren't walls. They're the foundation for any relationship worth keeping. And receipts? Receipts aren't about revenge. They're about truth. So let me ask you this. Would you have accepted the settlement? Or would you have pushed for the full amount in court? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if this story helped you see something more clearly, maybe a boundary you need to set, maybe a truth you've been avoiding, hit that subscribe button. There's more coming. One last thing. This is a fictionalized dramatization based on real themes. It's not legal or financial advice. If you're facing something similar, talk to a licensed professional in your area. Thanks for watching. And remember, your future is yours. Don't let anyone spend it for you.